Hello, friends! Today is a very special session. This game was arranged outside of the usual play schedule to accommodate a guest from overseas. Think of it as a bit of a primer for the upcoming CleriCon 2024 sessions. So, let's not waste any time getting to the fun. Roll the opener, and let's have at it. As always, the action is recreated using the Order of the Stick Monster for Every Season cutout minis. Today's players: Nathaniel as Colin Bush, Lawful Cleric of Elona, Level 4. Neil as Onion Buns Bumblestump, Neutral Halfling, Level 3.
Hi, this is Jon, the creator of Tale of the Manticore, and I am back today in the role of Rats, a neutral fighter who knows that discretion is the better part of valor.
At the Keep on the Borderlands, word is abuzz about Seneca Christ's actions to cleanse the Shrine of Elona a month back. The news has brought pilgrims and workers to help restore it. The Church of Elona has sent troops and clerics to fortify it. Established Cleric of Elona, Colin Bush, has also returned to the Keep, still on a mission to recover the Scepter of Elona from the hobgoblins at the Caves of Chaos. To that end, he sits with his companion, Onion Buns Bumblestump, as well as Onion's acquaintance, Rats the Scorpion Slayer. Rats is back after having spent a few months in a dungeon. A traditional dungeon where he was a prisoner, not a dungeon full of danger, adventure, and loot. What were you in for, by the way?
What was I in for? I told the captain of the guard that I'd had bowel movements that were more beautiful than his wife. I was a little drunk.
A halfling enters the inn, silhouetted against the backlight. He calls out to Onion Buns, and there are fears that it's Mungo Chubb, a local figure that Onion doesn't get on with. The new halfling comes into the light, revealing that it's not Mungo Chubb, but instead it's our second special guest player, and all the way from the UK...
Hello, I'm the Old Geek, and I will be playing Currant Cake Bumblestump of the East Shire Bumblestumps, Neutral Halfling, Level 3.
Currant Cake Bumblestump, Onion Buns' cousin from Eastshire, where Onions is from Hearthshire. Neil rolls with the introduction and immediately calls him Cakey. The two players start to improvise their shared childhood memories, and Cakey orders a grand feast for everyone at the table, sparing no expense. Cakey regales Onion Buns' friends with tales of Onions' cowardice as a kid, how he'd always be the first to run away from a fight. He extols the virtue and bravery of the Eastshire Bumblestumps over the Hearthshire Bumblestumps. When Onion Buns asks him what he's doing all the way out here on the frontier, Cakey explains that he's part of a mercenary company that's en route and will arrive within a few days. They are on a mission. All thought of said mission disappears, however, when the feast arrives and the characters dig in.
Somebody say there's some turkey leg going. Over here!
Colin suggests to Rats that he canvass the room and seek retainers, as they will need the numbers to assail the hobgoblin lair. The DM rolls for the usual availability, which sees Rats find 3 potential hirelings. A semi-familiar man sitting at the bar, drinking, keeps eyeing Onion Buns, who at first passes it off as nothing, but when the man continues to observe them, the halfling starts to get a little unnerved, and they call him over. Onion Buns can't place the face, but when the man asks where his friend Gwen is, it starts coming back to him. He regretfully states that Gwen died on a mission. The man says yes, he knows, then mentions that he heard through the grapevine that Onion Buns shot her in the back. There's brief panic, but Onion Buns doesn't deny or try to dodge guilt, instead telling the stranger the story, how he didn't mean to hit her. It was a deadly melee in tight quarters, and his aim faltered. He was aiming for the giant goblin. The man softens after hearing this, and a very positive reaction roll, and puts his hand on Onion Buns' shoulder, thanking him for his honesty and owning up to his part. As a warrior himself, he does understand how the chaos of combat can lead to friendly fire. Onion Buns invites him to join them in their meal. He agrees and sits with them. Onion Buns proceeds to tell the man about how he rescued Gwen from captivity a year prior. but the man points out that he knows, as he was there. He is Philip, one of Gwen's 2 human companions that were rescued from Bolg the Slaver that day by Onion Buns, Senec Christ, and the now deceased halfling Graxley Nogbottom. Colin asks Philip if he is for hire, to which Philip responds that he indeed is, for 25% of any spoils. Colin immediately agrees to this on the spot, to the surprise of the rest of the team. Rats points out that those were rather fast negotiations. Colin tells him that he will forfeit his share so the others can each get 25%. He is only interested in the recovery of the scepter. With Philip on the team, and Colin's access to keep soldiers thanks to his good relationship with the Castellan, they dismiss the other 3 potentials and get down to business. Colin tells them that he wants to reclaim the scepter, and feels a smash and grab tactic might be their best bet. Bust into the hobgoblin lair, wrestle the scepter from the chief, and flee in as short an order as possible. They can use the back entrance to the hobgoblin lair to get in. Philip points out that if they've tried that in the past, the hobgoblins would likely have doubled down on any fortification. They are a militarized race, and any military commander worth their salt wouldn't leave weakness in their defenses unguarded. Colin takes this in. It is decided that they will travel to the caves. Onion Buns will scout the entrance, and they'll go accordingly from there. Colin dips into his personal reserve of funds to buy the best equipment possible for anyone on the team that needs it, and they head out the next day. En route to the Caves of Chaos, Onion Buns spots something following them hidden in the tree line. He draws the others' attention. They move closer, investigating, but not sure of what they are seeing. Onion Buns heads closer with his dogs, Chester and Ezekiel, but as they draw near, the animals start to growl and snarl. Onion Buns sets them loose on whatever's following them. A tiger emerges to engage with the dogs. Combat begins. Keiki risks shooting into melee, but hits the tiger. Its morale holds after the injury. The tiger takes a chunk out of Chester. Colin sends men closer while the dogs are fighting the tiger, but alas, the tiger finishes Chester off with a vicious claw and bite attack. One of the men rushes in but fails to connect, while others close in more cautiously. Onion Buns is hesitant to shoot, being traumatized by the death of Gwen and is less willing to risk hitting allies. The tiger is ferocious and easily kills Ezekiel, Onion Buns' second dog. Other men perform fighting withdrawals, clearing it out so shooters can bombard it. The tiger takes some more hits, but its morale holds and it roars. It's now fighting to the death. The tiger pounces on one of the men, killing him as the rest of the team bombards it until it finally dies. But this predator has done its damage. 2 war dogs and a soldier dead. They return to the keep with the fallen soldier and the dead tiger. Onion Buns buries his dogs near a large tree. The team heads back out immediately, and with no further encounters, arrive at the Caves of Chaos quickly. Onion Buns scouts ahead, sees a sign on the Hobgoblin Lair cave, but is unable to read it as he's largely illiterate. There are various heads on pikes, and the cave is dark. And there are 2 shelves lined with skulls. He returns to report. The force moves up and fumbles about, debating on a course of action. A massive metal door blocks entry. This is a new development, and it seems to have been recently installed. The sign reads, "Come in, we'd like to have you for dinner." They check around for traps and a means to open it, noticing that there seems to be a gear attached to the upper corner. Rats and Philip attempt to batter the door down. At first it looks promising when it shifts slightly due to the failed structural saving throw by the DM, but 3 subsequent successful saves means the door is solid enough that it won't give. Rats tries to break the mechanical cog, but fiddling with it only seems to prompt a faint sound of a bell ringing. Realizing that between the bashing of the door and the bell, they've definitely alerted anything within, so they break the sign down and pour 4 flasks of oil across the cave entrance. Keiki hides in the grass nearby with a tinderbox and torch ready to light, while the rest form up to create a bottleneck if the hobgoblins come out to engage. The group waits. Nothing. The hobgoblins do not emerge from the cave entrance. After a moment, the DM calls surprise. The die roll favors the team, so there is no surprise, allowing them to spot movement from the goblin cave mouth at the bottom of the slope and floor of the valley some 200 feet away. A dozen hobgoblins sneaking out, armed with crossbows, ready to engage. Initiative is diced. Now, the DM here uses a house rule for crossbows. If they are preloaded, they will go first on initiative, but because of the loading feature, will subsequently go last after that first shot. The players win initiative, and since Rats has a crossbow that he had already loaded, he gets to go first. His aim is true and he hits a hobgoblin, killing it instantly. The hobgoblins return fire, bombarding the team with bolts. Current Cake remains safely hidden, thus no shots come his way. He draws upon his reserve of that old Eastshire halfling bravery and valiantly remains hidden and out of danger.
I think I'll just stay out of here, out of the way. I mean, you know what they say? Once a Bumblestump, always a Bumblestump.
One of the soldiers is killed in the barrage, while Rats gets nicked. The group returns fire, and while some hobgoblins are hit, none are killed. Initiative is rolled for a new round. The group has the initiative again, but the dice aren't with them, and all attacks miss or do minimal damage. The hobgoblins return fire again, killing another man, injuring Rats further. He's in rough shape now, but not dead. Retreat is considered, and Onion Buns calls to his cousin that they should bug out. Rats calls for them to press the attack, as they have the numbers. After mentioning this, half a dozen shield men march out of the cave, and the hobgoblins form up into a tightly protected shield wall. Now faced with greater numbers, in a better tactical position, the group decides to retreat. The hobgoblins bombard with more bolts, killing another one of the soldiers and injuring Rats yet again, putting him on the brink of death. The team flees the valley, and the hobgoblins do not pursue. Rats, you just survived 3 crossbow hits. How do you feel?
How did I feel? I felt like the south end of a northbound pig. That's how I felt.
The group trudges back up the path to the keep, where Gren the Frowning queries as to their mission, which was, alas, once again, unsuccessful. Some modest coin is earned for the tiger pelt. A most dear price paid indeed. And the session concludes. Another fun one, my friends, with 2 special guests, Jon the Old Geek and Jon from Tale of the Manticore. Nothing new from the module was really uncovered here, just another exchange with the hobgoblins of the Caves of Chaos. But they did glean some information at least, with regards to the hobgoblin fortifications and movements within the caves. The hobgoblins aren't just sitting around their caves waiting to be attacked. After every incursion by the PCs, the DM adjusts based on information that the hobgoblins would logically have. So players are wise not to try the same thing too many times. But for now, the status quo remains. The hobgoblins are in Cave F and still possess the Scepter of Alona. They are also capable soldiers with military tactics. The interplay between the PCs was fun as well. Jon, being a fan of Onion Buns Bumblestump, wanted to become part of the Bumblestump family and thus introduced old Onion Buns' cousin. This led to some fun banter between the players as Neil rolled with the revelation and the two almost dominated a portion of the game with their antics. Further to that amusement, Jon actively ended up forgetting his character's assigned mission, which was given as part of his participation for the Clericon sessions. Beyond that, not a lot to muse on this time. Colin continues his quest to find the scepter, and the tribes at the caves remain a threat. But tensions are escalating, and things are happening behind the scenes. Something big is coming, but that will have to wait till after Clericon. Excuse me, channeling Ace Eric there for a moment. I'd like to offer a special thanks to our guest players today, Jon the Old Geek and Jon from Tale of the Manticore. Check out their channels if you're not familiar. Links are in the description. The next 2 sessions are devoted to the players who joined us at Clericon 2024. They are in progress and will be ready soon, my friends. Stay tuned for the special premieres. And with that, I shall bid you anon.